mistake. The Eagles have found their fifth offensive coordinator in 5 years, naming Sean Mannion the OC going forward. Mannion was an offensive assistant and quarterbacks coach the past 2 seasons for the Packers. He was an active player in the NFL for 9 years prior to that. Now, he's just 33 years old. He has never been a play caller, but the expectation is that he's going to bring the Eagles and their offense back to life. Do you like this hire, or do you think this was a mistake going with someone who doesn't have a lot of experience?
I don't think I'm itching as much as this guy is. You all right over there?
Are you good, S.A.? Go ahead. You go ahead, S.A.
First of all, congratulations to Sean Mannion, okay? Quarterbacks coach in Green Bay last year. Obviously assisted Jordan Love in having a decent season. I get it. I understand that part. And I'm not trying, I hate being this cynical, RC, this skeptical about a hire, because it's not because of anything pertaining to his capability. He's considered to be some rising star in the business. Fine, no problem. That makes perfect sense. I got that. But these are the Eagles we're talking about. So I want Sean Mannion to know, congratulations, wishing you nothing but the best. Everybody believes you're a rising star, and I hope it proves true. And thus far, you're doing your thing. Congratulations to you. It's not that he doesn't deserve this opportunity. The issue is not him. It's the Eagles. They have fired the last 2 people they've plucked from nowhere to be first-year offensive coordinators. You're looking at Brian Johnson in 2023, fired after his first season. Kellen Moore comes on board in 2024, helps them capture Super Bowl. He ends up getting the head coaching job in New Orleans, all right? Then you go back to that route, and Kevin Patullo is fired in his first season, okay? So 2 of your last 3 coordinators was guys you plucked from relative obscurity that didn't really have that much experience, if any at all, as offensive coordinators, and you brought them in, and look what happened. I'm like, if you're the Philadelphia Eagles, why would you do that? Why is that the way to go? Why couldn't you go and get somebody that's more experienced schematically, that's been around the league, that's seen so many things, that had offensive play calling responsibilities? Because Nick Sirianni ain't the greatest offensive play caller in the world. Yes, he takes over those duties from time to time, but he's basically been like a CEO, being deferential to his offensive coordinators. You need somebody a bit more experienced, simply because of the personnel that you have and the problems that you've had. Because, I don't want to use the word optics, but perception definitely matters. A guy comes in there, RC, and he's relatively inexperienced. The second things go awry, especially if you keep A.J. Brown there, it's going to be an immediate reason to be skeptical about how this season is going to go. And that's the kind of thing that caused the Eagles problems in the past. And I don't know why they would put themselves in a position for that to be a problem again. Again, it's nothing against Sean Mannion. I wish him nothing but the best. I mean, maybe he's going to be terrific, and all of this is null and void. But I'm just saying, based on the Eagles' history, if I'm Eagles fans, I've got a raised eyebrow on this move, and I'm pretty skeptical about it.
So here, I don't have a problem with Sean Mannion being hired, and I'll tell you why after I say Eagles fans and the organization should have a problem with it. Because why isn't this job more coveted by experienced offensive minds? Let's look at the hiring of Brian Johnson and Kevin Patullo. These were both individuals that were elevated from the staff of the Philadelphia Eagles. Sean Mannion is different. Here is why you look at Sean Mannion and say that he could help, he could work. Look at the progression of Malik Willis, who came from Tennessee, who was someone that was considered a bust, a quarterback people didn't think could be a starter. He's going to be one of the hotter free agents this year because of some of the things we watched with him. Now, you also have to realize that Coach Stoyanovich was the actual offensive coordinator there while Matt LaFleur called plays. So Sean Mannion will have to get some of the art and the science that is play calling. Now let's think about the Philadelphia Eagles and why you should be concerned. Shane Steichen was the offensive coordinator for the Los Angeles Chargers when you hired him. You saw how that worked. Your team goes to a Super Bowl. He goes off to Indianapolis. When you hire Kellen Moore, he had been the offensive coordinator in Dallas. He was the offensive coordinator in Los Angeles. You hire him, team goes to the Super Bowl, he gets a job. My issue is, why can't you now get those sort of people to have interest in your job? When you have a Super Bowl MVP, you have an all-pro wide receiver, you have a 1B wide receiver that's as good as any, and you have the offensive player of the year in Saquon Barkley with dogs on the offensive line. The issue now is the perception of this job ain't as good as everybody thought it was going to be. And to me, Stephen A., that's a bigger issue than Sean Mannion, because I do believe there's some foundation and principles there for him where he could be a good play caller.
I think we're saying the same thing two different ways, because I'm not pointing the finger at Sean Mannion at all. I'm saying it's because of the
Today, Jim Bob Cooter, who did not get the Eagles job, will interview for the Giants offensive coordinator job. So will Alex Tanney, former Giants player and now a current coach. The rest, we don't have any names that have been reported that have been confirmed as interviewing, and yet it's wide open who could be the Giants offensive coordinator, because Todd Monken was supposed to be, but was the surprise hire in Cleveland. Now, maybe not everyone was surprised, but it seems like the Giants were banking on Monken. Harry, it's a very curious situation as we're heading into Super Bowl week, and the Giants do not have an offensive coordinator despite hiring Harbaugh 2 weeks ago.
It's also inexcusable, in my opinion. Peter, for the last 10 to 12 days, you have been reporting that there's a possibility that Todd Monken could get the Cleveland Browns job. If you knew that, if we knew that, John Harbaugh didn't know that? So it's inexcusable on this front. You have to make sure you have plans A, B, C, and D in place. Todd Monken is no longer available. So now if I'm John Harbaugh, what I'm doing is I'm getting on that phone, I'm calling Cliff Kingsbury. Hey, Cliff, we need to bring you in for an interview. Most likely we're going to give you this damn job. That's what should happen right now if I'm John Harbaugh.
Cliff Kingsbury is still not anywhere. He's still waiting to go. What are your thoughts?
Is that ironic that he's out there, that he's kind of wore his welcome out in Washington? We know how it ended in Arizona. So maybe it's something to that. You know what I mean? Maybe he doesn't play well in the sandbox with others. But one thing you don't.
Beggars can't be choosers right now.
No. Listen. Harbaugh is never going to come from a place of desperation. You talk about a man that coached in Baltimore for 18 years, that lost coordinators every year on the defensive side of the ball, and just continued to promote and find hidden gems. He's a coach. He's a son of a coach. He's been in this game for a long time. I don't worry about him. You know, one of the outside names I know that's floating around, and who knows who started it, you know, Charlie Weiss Jr., you know, being able to do something that, you know, the last time we saw was probably in Miami when Ryan Tannehill was brought in and Mike Sherman became the offensive coordinator, and it kept
Jackson Dart's coach at Ole Miss.
Right.
So you're saying that would make sense to bring him over to the Giants.
Well, just for the continuity, because he's going to hear language and verbiage. And if we're talking about, you know, Lane Kiffin and how, you know, it was an offensive, it was a professional type of outfit, then it's something that will allow your quarterback to play fast and maybe be able to actually be a coach on the team and not be learning his second offense in 2 years. So that's an outside, maybe non-conventional type of way of thinking about it.
You would think that with Harbaugh's experience, the Rolodex would be hundreds of pages long, and yet these names, Alex Tanney and Jim Bob Cooter, are the names that have been reported. That doesn't scream to you, hey, this is so I'm curious to see how it goes out. What's your thoughts?
It's a huge hire for a guy who at the start of the Lamar Jackson tenure had Greg Roman, and they had success. He won an MVP, they were winning games, but I think everyone felt like there was more to Lamar than what that offense was getting. You switch to Monken, Lamar found another gear. I mean, all of the stats went through the roof, wins another MVP, they get to an AFC championship.
That's the one that got away, though, right?
Now he's gone, so I look at that and I think Harbaugh, having waited as long as he did from the Roman to Monken switch, this is going to be a very big hire for Jackson Dart.
You look at Lamar, he doesn't have an offensive coordinator yet. You look at Jackson Dart, he doesn't. The Jets don't have one. There's a bunch of teams that don't have offensive coordinators yet. If you're a hot name as an offensive coordinator, would you rather go to Baltimore or to the Giants?
I can't believe you asked. I can't believe you said it with a straight face.
Baltimore Ravens.
I can't believe you said it with a straight face.
I don't even think it's a debate, honestly.
Right.
Like the Baltimore Ravens, you have a 2-time MVP award winner in Lamar Jackson. You're still going to have Derrick Henry. You're going to have Zay Flowers.
Great
You're going to have Mark Andrews. You believe that Jesse Minter is going to get that defense right, and it's also going to protect your offense as a system as well, too. So I'm going to Baltimore.
But is there any concern that you get full buy-in from the quarterback? Just given some of the rumors and reports we heard down the stretch.
No, because pressure's on Lamar as well, right?
Throw my name in the hat. I'll go coach Lamar ass up right now. Hey, listen.
It ain't that hard. It ain't that difficult.
You don't want to coach Lamar Jackson?
That's not the thing. It wouldn't
No,
be
wasn't
you don't
saying
want
that.
it.
I was just curious, if you get there and you're very excited about it, are you getting full buy-in from him? Do you have the chance to hit the full potential?
Lamar has no choice. Like, we always go back to draft day. I'm going to bring a Super Bowl here. Joe Flacco brought a Super Bowl there. Trent Dilfer brought a Super Bowl there, right? This is his opportunity to etch his name amongst the greats in Baltimore. You got to get a chip. And I got to understand that he's getting a little long in the tooth, 10 years. Everything after 10 years is gravy. I don't care if you're a quarterback, what position it is, because the body changes, injuries, all those things. So he has to see that the opportunity, now he's going to get all the blame because he pushed out potentially a Hall of Fame quarterback because of, questions about potentially his staff and the ability to make changes to help Lamar Jackson.
A Hall of Fame.
And that article did not help him at all.
No, and if you're looking and you're explaining, okay, well, what about the article was by Mike Preston, a longtime writer there in Baltimore, and there were questions about Lamar's work habits and some stuff that was coming out of the organization. Well, sure enough, 2 weeks later, they missed the playoffs, and of course, Monken's fired, and so is John Harbaugh. It leaves you here with Lamar, and it's like, all right, what's next? What does Lamar Jackson need to do to get over the hump and to finally silence all of those critics, and especially those who read that article and read too much into it?
Number one, you look at the last 8 years and you say to yourself, if you're Lamar Jackson, what I've done up until this point hasn't been enough, right? So what do I need to do as an individual to get us over the hump? Now, from an offensive coordinator standpoint, I'm not saying you put more on Lamar Jackson's plate, because I think that was kind of the talk about him in previous years. Is Lamar doing too much? Same thing with Josh Allen.
Yeah, it's a Joe Brady
Is he doing too much? But for Lamar Jackson, if you're, as an individual, looking at yourself, you say to yourself, I have not been able to get to a Super Bowl within the last 8 years.
Leadership.
What do I need to do better?
Leadership.
To get this football team, this organization over that hump, because I am the face of the franchise. And just like I feel about Josh Allen, I feel the same way about Lamar Jackson. If things don't work out with these two new head coaches, we're not going to look and point the blame at these head coaches first. We're going to look at these MVP quarterbacks and blame them first.
The fact that Drake May is in the Super Bowl and Drake May was playing Jarrett Stidham in the AFC Championship while Lamar's sitting at home and Josh Allen's sitting at home, that's got to be the wake-up call of all wake-up calls, that you missed an unbelievable opportunity to seize upon that legacy.
Really, the underlining story about what's going to contribute to the success of the Baltimore Ravens and Lamar Jackson this year is how he handles his contract negotiations. Does he leave a little money on the table so that you can go out and get a listen, we love Zay Flowers and he's a nice receiver, but I'm talking about get a legitimate stud out there or have to re-sign Linderbaum, all those things, because now you got a guy in New York, and we're going to see how much the Ravens players really, really love Harbaugh, because they have some pivotal guys, Isaiah Likely, Linderbaum. You got Patrick Ricard, who was the identity, part of that identity there, that Harbaugh can